Roger, he didn't leave Nike. Nike kind of left him.
It normally doesn't happen that you leave Nike and something better happens.
The contract was ending in February of 2018. I go up to campus on the last day of the contract. At that point, I'll leave what happened in the meeting to what happened in the meeting. I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, what did I do here? This is Mr. Nike. He's about to walk out.
Tony, talk about how it's kind of gone from, listen, I signed this kid, I'm his agent, I'm getting to know him, oh, he's one of the best ever. At this point, you guys are like, if you broke up now, it would be a divorce instead of, a summer fling.
I got so lucky to be put in a position to start managing him back in 2005. After he beat Andre in the finals of the US Open, I met him. He had already been in touch with Monica Seles and Ted Forsman and decided he was thinking about coming back to IMG. She's the one that signed Roger Federer for me, Monica. Roger looked at Monica and said, what do I do? And Monica said, look, go back to IMG. Do it for a year. But he's like, who's going to be my agent? She said, my agent. The guy I trust there is Tony. Do something with him for a year, and then you'll know. So sure enough, I get a phone call from Monica. She said, you have a new client. I said, what do you mean? She said, Roger's going to come back, and you're going to be his agent, but Forsman's going to call you in like 5 minutes.
Was that a good phone call here? Having the number one player in the world.
Well, I was like, yeah, sure, Monica. I'm like, sure. And so Forsman called me 5 minutes later and just said, hey, Godsick, I made your career. Get down to my office. The secret to his success and to our partnership has been the ability to always get him on the phone, always communicate. He has strong opinions. I have strong opinions. I have a great team around me now. And then Roger did as well. So it all kind of worked. He did winning. We had a lot of fun doing it. We had a strategy to every single thing we did. He wanted a few select partners that he could sort of grow with for a long period of time. One of the greatest things about managing Roger was he's Swiss. I mean, just think about it. Small country, 8.5 million people, but big brands.
There aren't a lot of players who sign a max long-term deal with, 2 years left in their career, 3 years, 4 years if we max it out. That normally doesn't happen. And it normally doesn't happen that you leave Nike and something better happens.
The contract was ending in February of 2018, a 10-year deal. We started in 2008. I spent 1 year from the beginning of 17 all the way till when it ended trying to renew it. I understand it's hard to place a value on someone who's already branded, who's 36 years old. Most people don't play past 30 or whatever it is. And so here he is at 36, but we had history. So I went up there and I said, listen, guys, we need to redo this contract in a way that rewards him for having the most Grand Slams at that point in history. So let's come up with something. It was okay, great. And I remember meeting with a big group of people there. And then 2 weeks later, he wins the Australian Open. And then what does he do? He shows up in SW19 and he wins Wimbledon. Show up at the Australian Open. The deal's up in a month. And what does he do? He wins the Australian Open 2018. So we go from winning no majors to winning 3 while I need to negotiate. So he's giving me all the goods. I go up to campus on the last day of the contract. At that point, I'll leave what happened in the meeting to what happened in the meeting. But I left Beaverton without a deal, super upset. I remember walking in the airport in Minneapolis, just really I cannot believe this. I'm going to go down as the agent who could not renew. Not only the greatest guy, but the greatest tennis player in history, most slams. I can't renew his deal. He didn't leave Nike. Nike kind of left him. We were trying to re-sign, and they chose not to re-sign. He would have stayed. So I went out to the marketplace. Everybody was like, yeah, right. No, thank you. And I remember one brand said, he's already branded Nike. We're not interested. And I'll never forget, I tried to get to meet Mr. Yanai, the founder of Uniqlo. And I couldn't get to Mr. Yanai. And Anna Wintour, who I owe a tremendous amount, besides being one of my favorite people in the world, she was actually, I remember having breakfast with her at the Mark Hotel in New York City in her table 21 in the far right corner. And I said, I need a favor. Do you know Mr. Yanai? I can't get to him. She said, yeah, I know him.
Is this a real story?
You think I'm making up the table number at the Mark Hotel?
Listen, I don't want you to let the truth get in the way of a good story, but this is great.
12 hours later, I had a message back from the assistant of Mr. Yanai saying, can you come to Japan on this date and meet him for 30 minutes? So I call Roger, what do I do? He goes, you go to Japan and meet him for 30 minutes. The first thing he asked me was, who else are you here to see in Japan? I told him no one else. But then he asked a really good question, which is, are you here to use me? I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, we had another athlete from Nike whose contract was over. They came down, we made an offer, and then Nike matched it. So are you here to do the same thing? And I said, well, if you meet the terms of what Roger wants to do and the vision that we have and aren't concerned with him playing for too much longer and we can do the fashion stuff, then it's up to you. It was hard for us, but we were super excited to go with Uniqlo. One of the senior creative directors at Uniqlo had a great line. Roger will retire from tennis, but he won't retire from life. And I was like, yes, they finally understand that there's life off the court with Roger. The best part of the deal was they didn't make shoes, Uniqlo. I had gotten to know these On guys years before in 2016. And they would always ask, would there be ever a chance to do something with our homegrown favorite, because they're a Swiss brand, Roger Federer? And I would always laugh at them, like, no chance. He's going to be with Nike forever. And then sure enough, in 2018, after this Uniqlo stuff, I met with the guys and I said, ask the question. And they're like, okay, can we do anything with Roger? I'm like, yes. And they're like, what are you talking about? He's going to sign with Uniqlo. He doesn't have a shoe deal. And they were like, oh my gosh, we're too young. We don't have enough money. I said, don't worry about it. Let's do something different, something where he can grow with you. We can attack. And we came up with a very constructive and creative agreement. They did well, then Roger was going to do well. They had an amazing product, and the rest is history.
New deals close to the finish line of a career, how stuff turns that quickly on like a 30-minute meeting. It's just absurd to me. Like what has to happen?
You need a product like Roger. Do you need a guy who's got a global reputation where no one was going to say, oh no, he's not a nice guy. I did not think that basically 3 years being retired now, that he'd still have 13 sponsors. And a lot of them have been contracted for over 20 years. Think of the likes of Rolex, and Mercedes and Credit Suisse, which is now UBS, and Lynn. I mean, they keep renewing. The Nike thing was hard for us, but in hindsight, not that hard. Roger spent 24 years with another brand over-delivering. The reputation got out there, and I think that was part of the reason why we were able to get these deals.